Namaste everybody, welcome to YogaCandi. My name's Candace and today I have a morning flow for you which is just perfect for energizing the body, just waking up the whole system, and it's going to be all levels. So I'm going to offer options for more intermediate type positions every now and then. So if you're more intermediate, then this is going to be great to just join in and just play around with some of your alignment as well, just to make sure you've still got it as well, you know, because sometimes we pick up bad habits. If you're a total beginner, you may want to look at my more beginner classes. You can just type in YogaCandi beginner. Otherwise, just join in and do your best. Listen to your body. If you feel any sharp pain, that's not a feeling you want to feel. So that's your body telling you you need to either pull back or take a breather, maybe lie down, or take a child's pose, or sit and meditate, wait for the next position. So just listen to your body and make this class your own. Just remember there's no competition with yoga. We never have to push ourselves far. It's just a very slow, loving, self-loving journey. So let's all begin in a comfortable seated position. Roll your shoulders back and down. Close the eyes, taking a moment to tune into the body. So let's close our mouths and inhale and exhale throughout the nose for the whole class as best you can. If you have congestion, you can breathe through the nose, no problem. Through the mouth if needed. So let's take nice deep breaths all the way into the depths of the belly. Relaxing the shoulders. Taking a little note of where you're feeling tense this morning and where you might need some extra TLC. Filling the lungs with oxygen, waking up and energizing the body. Let's take 5 deep breaths with the eyes closed. Just inhale into the belly fully, balloon it out as you inhale. On the exhale, you're going to hug the belly button very tightly back towards the spine. Taking 5 of those. Inhale, balloon the belly. Exhale, hug it back. Keep going. Inhale, balloon. Exhale, hug back. Take 1 more. You can keep the eyes closed or open them and watch me. Lock your elbows. Take your fingertips far away from the body and touch them to the ground. Sit up tall and just being like this, holding your shoulders a little back and down. You'll already feel a stretch through the neck, through the shoulders, maybe even all the way to the fingertips. But from here you can tilt your head to the left. Keeping the breath deep, just breathe here, resting the head down towards the left shoulder. Now roll it towards the chest, nice and slow, and then drop it towards the right and breathe deep. Now find some neck rolls, just slowly rolling from shoulder to shoulder, keeping those elbows locked and the hands nice and far from the body, fingertips touching the mat. Take one more neck roll. And then inhale your hand to the sky, look up. And take a hold of your knees. Arch the back, tuck your chin to your chest. Inhale, lift the chest to the sky, look up. Back to neutral. Coming into a tabletop position, hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Hug your belly button back. We're going to take some cat-cows. Inhale, drop the belly, look up. Exhale, arching the spine, tuck the tailbone in the chin. Take 3 more in your own time. Inhale, drop the belly. Exhale, arch. Inhale, drop the belly. Exhale. Taking one more, inhale. And exhale. Keep your knees where they are. Walk your hands back towards your heels. Send the crown of your head down to the floor as close to your knees as you possibly can get your head. So your crown is not resting on the floor, it's slightly hovering. Take a grip of your heels. We're coming into rabbit pose. Hug your belly button back. Just opening up through the back of the shoulder blades here. You can always tuck the toes if you can't reach the heels and maybe grab the shins or something like that. Really pull as if you're trying to push the top of your shoulders out. And then rest. Coming into a child's pose. Close your eyes and keep your breath nice and deep. Okay, let's send it back and up to downward facing dog. So come into your plank position first, and then send your tailbone to the sky, feet hip distance apart, hands shoulder distance apart or slightly wider if that's more comfortable. Press into all 4 corners of the feet and the hands. You can warm up your dog by just bending and straightening through the legs. And don't worry if your heels don't touch the ground. This might happen with time, but it doesn't happen for everybody. Some people, they can do yoga for years and it may never happen. So don't worry if your down dog doesn't look like mine. You may need to keep your knees bent, your heels may be lifted, and that's okay. Pull your shoulder blades apart so you're externally rotating your arms and you're internally rotating your knees. So you're trying to very slightly turn your knees inwards. Taking one more breath here. Look between your hands, step your right foot forwards and inhale your arms to the sky for our high lunge. Sending your tailbone forwards, trying to keep your hips in line with each other. Hug your belly button back. Interlace your fingers above your head and just plant them behind your head. Look up to the sky. So you're doing a little heart opener. You're resting into your palms. Keeping your legs nice and strong, engage your glutes. Energizing those legs, waking them up. And then inhale the hands to the sky, opening for warrior two. Turn the body so the hips are open. Bend into the front leg, 90-degree angle to the mat. Back foot around a 90-degree angle to the back of the mat and open up through your hands. Look beyond these right fingertips. Sink a little deeper. Inhale, lean forward. Reverse that warrior by taking that right hand up and over your ear. Look to the sky. Getting a side body stretch. Or you can stay in warrior two. And coming into our triangle pose. Straighten the front leg. Bring this right hand in front of the right, either the right thigh, the right shin, or all the way down to the ground. Try to keep this left hip rotating backwards. So you're trying to keep a nice open hip, an inner thigh area. Take this left hand to the sky, look up. Feel that delicious stretch through the left hip. And that hamstring stretch in the right leg as well. This is such a beautiful pose. If you need to, you can always bend the right leg a little or use a block. You can always quickly pause the video, go grab a yoga block and rest this right hand onto a block. Holding this pose just for one more breath. And then exhale, bend into the front leg and come back into your warrior two. Raising those hands, looking beyond the right fingertips. Find some wrist rotations. Just rotate your wrists in one direction. It's okay, your legs have got this. Just keep holding this. And then rotate your wrists in the opposite direction. Let's rotate the hips forwards, coming back into our high lunge. Back heel comes off the ground. Inhale the hands to the sky. Maybe if you want to go a little further, you can come up onto the tippy toes of the front foot. Frame the front foot. Walk the front foot to the outside edge of the right hand. So you're in a runner's lunge, but you're opening up through the hip here on the right side. Maybe find a little movement, just rocking back and forth. If this is not accessible, just grab your blocks and place your hands onto a block. So this is called lizard pose. Become still just for a moment and take a deep breath here. Step this right foot back and you're in your plank. Hold your plank nice and strong. If you're more beginner, maybe take your knees to the ground, taking a much easier plank variation. And we're going to Vinyasa. So exhale, tuck your elbows close to the body, bring your chest down to the floor. Inhale into a back bend, baby cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale, lift your hips to the sky for your downward facing dog. Feet hip distance, hands shoulder distance or just a bit wider. Take some deep breaths here. If you need a rest, just take child's pose here. Bring your knees down to the floor and just rest. We're going to be in down dog for 3 deep breaths. And look between your legs and then close your eyes if you would like to. Now look forwards and step this left leg between your palms. Don't worry if it wasn't very graceful and took a while to get there, that's okay. Keep the front leg bent, 90-degree angle. Inhale the hands to the sky. Press your tailbone forwards and send your weight down into the hips. Keep the legs nice and strong. Hips are facing forwards. Inhale your hands to the sky. Interlace them behind your head and rest back into the hammock that you've created. Look to the sky. And back up. Opening up into our warrior two. Hips are nice and open, bend into the front leg. Back foot is around 90-degree angle to the back of the mat and look beyond these left fingertips. Keep your breath deep. Lean forwards and reverse your warrior, or stay in warrior two if you prefer. Look to the sky, reaching that arm up high, taking the side body stretch. And then straighten the front leg, keeping the hips nice and open, coming down for triangle pose. You can just take a small triangle, taking your hand to the inner thigh, down to the shin, or if you have the flexibility, take it all the way to the floor. Tilt the chest to the sky as well as the top hip, rotate it towards the sky, almost as if you're trying to get it to go behind you, just to open up through those hips. Keep your breath deep, feeling that stretch. And back to warrior two, bend through the front leg. Maybe get a bit deeper on this go. Rotating the wrists as well, if you want to. Waking up every bit of the body. And maybe rotate in the opposite direction. And then high lunge, rotating the hips forwards, come up off the back heel. Hips are facing the front of the mat. Bend into the front leg. Maybe come to tippy toes if you would like to get a little deeper. And challenge your balance. And then frame the front foot, bringing the hands to the ground. Keep that back knee nice and strong so that back leg is nice and straight. We're going to walk our left foot to the outside edge of our left hand. Into an almost runner's lunge. This is called lizard, with an open hip. You can find a bit of movement, maybe rocking back and forth here. And then become still. You've got this. And just enjoy some deep breaths. Step back into plank. Stay nice and strong. Hug your belly button back. Let's all take our knees to the ground, taking an easy plank. We're going to take chaturanga. So exhale down, elbows close to the body. Bring your chest all the way to the floor. And inhale, lift using your back muscles. Look up to the sky and exhale down. Open your hands as wider than your mat, so on the outside edges of your mat. But keep your elbows in line with your shoulders, fingertips on the floor. Press your feet into the ground. Have your feet about hip distance apart. Inhale, lift the chest, look up. Exhale down. We're going to take 3 of those. Keep going at your own pace. Nice deep breaths. Inhale, lift. Exhale down. Inhale, lift. And down. One more. Inhale, lift. And down. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders and just send your tailbone back to your heels. Open your legs as wide as your mat, your knees as wide as your mat. Coming into a wide-legged child's pose, just extend through your arms, rest your head on the ground. Walk your hands to the left side of the mat. Grab onto your right wrist and then rest back down. Taking a side body stretch on the right side. Try to draw your right armpit down to the floor. And gently lift up, walk your hands over to the other side, taking a grip of your left wrist, resting the head down. Draw your left armpit down to the floor just to get deeper into that stretch. Walk your fingertips back to the center, draw your knees together and swing them out in front of you. Taking a seat in staff pose. This is not possible for those who are a little more inflexible, so that's okay. You can always sit with your knees bent, but just sit up tall, hug your belly button back, roll your shoulders back and down, and try to lift your heels off the floor if your legs are straight. Just taking a moment here. And now send your tailbone a little closer towards your feet. We're going to take pigeon pose on our backs. So slowly lie all the way down onto your spine, rolling down vertebrae by vertebrae. Keeping your knees bent, take your right leg, open the hip out, so it's in almost a figure 4 shape. Some of you may already be feeling it, and you can always stay here and push your knee open, just using your right hand to push your knee open. But maybe you have the flexibility and the strength to lift that left leg off the ground. Engage through the foot, so you want your foot to be slightly pointed and your toes to be facing the sky. And maybe you can take a grip of the back of your left thigh. And maybe you can use your right elbow to push your right knee a little more open. You'll feel the stretch through the glutes, through the hip. Just opening up through the hips, releasing tension in the lower back. Keep your shoulders down on the ground. And on the exhale, you're more than welcome, if you have the flexibility, to sort of give into the pose a little more and just allow that leg to potentially come closer towards your body. But wherever you are, close your eyes and let's just take 3 deep breaths in this beautiful stretch. And very slowly release that leg down to the ground. Lift that right leg up to the sky. Maybe give it a little bounce towards your body. And then bend through the knee. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Lift up through the left leg. Open up through the knee. Place the heel onto the right leg. You can just stay here, pushing that knee open. If that's enough for you, that's fine. Maybe you can lift that bottom leg off the ground and take a hold of behind the leg, behind the thigh. Now push that knee open with your elbow if that's possible. Remember to engage the feet. So you want your toes to be facing the sky. Give into this stretch. And if you feel your body open up more for you, you can always draw it closer and closer towards the body without lifting your tailbone. So try to keep your tailbone nice and flat against the mat, as well as your shoulder blades. Breathe deep into this position. Listen to your body. Don't force anything. Take one more deep breath. And slowly release that right leg down to the ground. Extend the left leg up to the sky. Maybe find a little bounce if it's possible and if it feels good. And then release your leg back down to the ground. Keep your knees bent still. Open your arms out into a T shape in line with your shoulder blades. We're going to take some spinal twists. So wrap your right leg on top of the left either once or twice in like eagle legs. Send your bum over towards the right side of your mat, just slightly, and allow your knees to drop to the left. Now try to keep your shoulder blades nice and flat to the floor, as flat as you can get them. And then take your gaze to the right. So knees are to the left, your gaze is to the right. Hang out in this lovely spinal twist just for some nice deep breaths. Close your eyes and allow your body to open up. This is beautiful for digestion, for getting all the digestion juices working. And just so wonderful for the spine. There's also healing for the soul, just to relax in this pose and to be in the moment. So stay in the moment. If your thoughts start to wander and you start to think of all different things, just bring your attention back to the breath, back to the body. Be here and now. Drawing that right shoulder blade down to the floor. Take one more deep breath here. Bring your head back to the center, look to the sky. And inhale, lift your knees back to the center, bringing your bum back in line with your head. Draw the knees towards your chest and unwrap your legs. Keep your arms where they are. We're going to go over to the other side. So wrapping the left leg either once on top of the right leg, or you're going to wrap it twice in your eagle legs. This time we're going to send our tailbone slightly to the left and allow our knees to drop to the right. Get yourself comfortable. Try to draw this left shoulder blade down to the floor, and then take your gaze over towards the left side of the room. Knees are to the right, gaze is to the left. Drawing those shoulder blades to the floor and keeping them away from your ears. Stay in the moment, enjoy this twist. Become completely relaxed in the body. Allow it just to open up gently for you. Enjoying deep breaths. Taking 2 more deep breaths here. Okay, take your gaze back to the sky, stay in your twist just for a moment, and then using your core, draw your knees back to the center. Bringing the knees to the chest, unwrap the legs. Open your knees out wider than the body and take a grip of either your shins or the outside edges of your feet. Tailbone is down towards the floor, open up through the legs and really draw those knees down to the floor. Keep your tailbone down, shoulder blades on the ground, opening up for our happy baby. You may want to find a little rocking motion, just gently rock from side to side. Or you can just be still, drawing those knees further and further to the floor. Give it one last little pull, so just pull your knees a little further down and then release the legs. Push your way up into a comfortable seat. Take your time getting there, there's no rush. And sit in a comfortable cross-legged position, any cross-legged position of your choice. Sit up tall through the spine. Just extend through the arms once again, just like we did in the beginning. Draw the shoulder blades back and down as if you're pulling them away from your ears intentionally. Lock the elbows, fingertips on the floor. Drop your head to the left, hold it there just for a couple of breaths. Then slowly as you can, roll the head over to the right, dropping the head to the right. Couple of breaths. And then roll the head over to the left, nice and slow, and then back to the right, nice and slowly. Give your hands a little shake out. Bring your hands down to the ground in front of you. So with your palms facing towards me, turn the thumbs so they're on the outside edges of your hands, and draw your fingers and your palms all the way down to the ground. You may need to bend your elbows. Maybe you can't get your palms to actually come down to the floor. That's okay. Your fingers may be quite tight, especially if you spend a lot of time at a computer or on your phone or anything like that. But if you can, try to draw those palms down to the floor. Spread the fingertips. Draw your shoulders back and down. And just lean into this. So you're stretching all through the backs of the fingers, all the way up through the palms and the back of the hands. Just wonderful for our generation. We just spend so much time, as I say, on computers or on our phones. So I hope you're enjoying this stretch. Just taking a moment here. Breathe deep. Maybe it feels good to very gently roll or rock from side to side. You may notice one hand is perhaps more intense in the stretch than the other, and that's probably the hand you use the most. So just giving it a couple more breaths here. Maybe bend the elbows a little more, make sure there's no intense pain. That means you're going too far. So just be where you are. And release. Take the hands up slowly, rotate the wrists, give them a little shake, and we're going to do it on the other side. So give your shoulders a little roll. So face your palms towards me, thumbs on the inside, drop your fingers down towards the floor, spread them, and then take those tops of the hands down to the floor, so your thumbs are on the inside this time. So don't put pressure on your hands, just lean forwards and maybe find a little rocking motion if that feels good, or just be still, but you're going to be stretching the tops of the hands now. Maybe you'll feel it all the way up into the wrists. Bend your elbows slightly if that feels good. Just don't put any pressure, be very gentle. There's tiny little ligaments in the hands and we don't want to stretch them out too much or cause any injury. So be very gentle and mindful about this pose. Just taking one more deep breath here. And then very slowly come on up, release, change position of your legs. So to end the class today, please don't skip this, guys. Try and join me. We're just going to close our eyes just for 30 seconds of complete silence together. So taking the tops of our hands to our knees, sit up tall, shoulders roll back and down. Close the eyes. We're going to take 30 seconds to be here in the moment, to feel through the body of what we've just done. So breathe naturally, don't force anything. We're halfway there. Stay with the moment. Allow your thoughts to pass. You can stay here and continue to meditate or end the class with me. Keeping the eyes closed, inhale the hands to the sky, allow your face to follow. Taking a big inhale, exhale, draw your hands in prayer to your heart center and bow your head. Namaste, everybody. You can open your eyes. I thank you so much, honestly, from the bottom of my heart for joining me on today's class. If you're new to the channel, then I'm so glad you found me and I hope you enjoyed it. And please don't forget to subscribe, guys. All these things just really help the channel to grow and help me continue doing what I absolutely love, which is to bring free yoga to the world. So subscribing, commenting, thumbs up, sharing, all these things are really helpful to the channel. So thank you if you do that. And if you guys would like, you can sign up on for my newsletter, and I've got a free ebook of just some alignment tips to help you along your yoga journey. They're very common yoga poses that are used in most beginner yoga classes, so it may be very handy for you to study those and just get to know the poses really well so that you don't cause any injury to your body, because I know cues from teachers can be a little much sometimes, especially when you're a beginner. It can feel a little daunting. You hear all these things, hug your belly button back, so it may be helpful to you guys. And also you can find me on Instagram and Facebook. I'm not massively present on there at the moment. I've got a toddler in this current day. If you're watching in 2 years' time, it could be a different thing. But at the moment, I've got a 2-year-old and I'm full-time mum. So I'm not on there too much, but I'd love to see you on there. And as time goes on, I will be posting more and more. So I hope you guys enjoy those channels too. Until next time. Namaste. Feel free to let me know if you have any requests. Have a lovely day, everybody. Namaste.